I'm working from the New Perspectives Access 2007 textbook. I'm in Tutorial 7, but the example that I'm going to give here will work for any report where the report controls are grouped. The question is, how do I get more space between my controls? When we look at the report that I have open here, we see that price and unit are right next to one another. If I resize price, unit simply moves over with it. So how do I get space between those? Well, the first thing that I want to do is I want to make sure that my report is pretty much finished before I go in and ungroup controls. Now, you're going to get arguments on this either way. I've been working with Access for, well, since version 1, and I really was resistant to the new layout, but I find that the layout view works really well for doing broad level changes to your report. When you want to fine-tune it, then it's time to go into Design View. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this report is I'm going to look for columns that are wider than they need to be, and I'm going to take a little space out of those columns, and I'm going to show you in just a minute why I'm doing that. First name is a little wider than it needs to be, so I'm going to shorten it just a little bit, or make it just a little narrower, I should say. Now the price control is a little wider than it needs to be. Now I want to make sure that I have room here for another number, a comma, another number, and a $sign if I want it. I should have that room. Now every time I shorten these controls, the unit column is coming off from this right-hand margin. Leave it that way. Okay, now I'm going to save this and I'm going to switch into Design View. Okay, now I'm going to click on any one of these controls. When I click on it, I see the group and I see the plus sign in the upper left hand corner. I'm going to click on it and it's going to select all my controls that are part of this group. I'm going to go to the Arrange tab and I'm going to click Remove. It simply removes all of those controls from the group. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come all the way over here to the end and I'm going to take the two unit fields. And you see, when I drag down through them, I got a hold of that line too. That's fine. I'm going to take those two and I'm going to do Align Right. Now it's going to move the two unit fields towards the right. Now I'm going to get back up here and I'm going to take this group of fields. And we may have some difficulties because we have some lines here. So let's just give it a try. I might have to go about this a different way. And I'll take this group. And I'll take this group and I'm going to go to horizontal spacing, make equal. Ah, it worked. Now what it did, and why I was concerned about this, is because that I've got controls in the header and controls in the details section. In order to get this to work properly, none of your controls can overlap, and the ones that are in each section have to align and be the same height, and they have to align. So what I did is I set the unit as my controls that are furthest to the right, and company ID is the set of controls that's furthest to the left, and when you grab them all and you go horizontal spacing make equal, it will take the space that I created between price and unit. See the space that I created right here? It's going to take all of that space and it's going to distribute it through the other controls or between the other controls in the report. Now that may not be enough space between unit and price to please you, but you see that it has come across. They have come apart. So there's an option. There's a way that you can get this to work. Now I don't have a lot of room to continue shortening those or making those controls narrow. Since I don't have a lot of room, I'm not going to get a lot of room between the controls in this report. But here's a technique that you can use to try to create space between the controls on a report. It's the end of this segment.